All right, guys, Dark Horse Rowing. We are here to talk about prepping movement for rowing. We're here with Dr. Teresa Larson from Movement RX, coach for Mobility WOD and Adaptive Strength. Yes. And she's going to take you through movement prep before you guys get into the actual movement of rowing. A lot of people are curious, how do I get my body ready? How do I actually prep the movement so that when I sit down on the machine, everything's good to go, moving freely, sliding. It's like butter, right?
Like butter.
Like butter.
Like butter. It should feel sticky, like crap.
Like crap.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do, you guys. First things first is get hot and sweaty. And so we're going to do that by doing a couple drills that will get you warmed up, but it will focus on movement pattern. So the movement pattern in the rowing technique. We know that the movement pattern comes, you have to understand it cognitively, and you have to cognitively allow your body to do it. So a lot of times people say, I know the technique, I know what to do, but they don't do it right? There's a lot of kind of faulty movement patterns that create motor control deficits and end up mobility restrictions. So these drills are very simple, but very focused on activation of specific tissue to help you with rowing. So in physical therapy, we always want to retest. What are we trying to change? Okay. Especially when it comes to restrictions in movement. So the first one is, this is the release position. So when you extend in your hips and you kind of finish the movement at the release of the row, your spine, so you're actually in a neutral spine position. So your sacrum is touching the PVC pipe, the shoulders are touching the PVC pipe, my mid-back, and my head. Okay? So when I bend over to go back to the nice, my voice will get spoiled a little bit, but when I bend over to go into the catch position, right, and I'm loading my hamstrings and glutes, like I want to see how far I can go before I start to round my back and or have to bend my knees more.
And if you hold this for 1 second, if you guys will notice this as you're moving through the recovery, guys, this is exactly what you should be seeing. Hinging at the hip with perfect posture. This is our ideal as we're moving from release into the recovery.
So you want to test that. How does it feel? Where do you feel sticky? Where do you stop? Okay. The second position is that catch position. So what you can do is just put your feet hip width apart, squat down, knees, run over the toes. How does that feel? Okay. Does it feel sticky? Do you fall backwards? Can you even get super low? These are your two tests. Okay. Catch position, release position, hinging into the catch.
So how do we improve it?
So this is how we're going to improve it. First things first is called the crawl. Oh, thank you. I'm going to get over to the camera. So you're going to get into this quadruped position, okay? So when you're in that catch position, you, like Shane's talked about, you want to have external rotation, go from a protracted position to a retracted position without, throwing your chest forward. So what you're going to do, get your hands underneath your shoulders, toes tucked, knees underneath the hips. And you're going to go ahead and find that neutral spine. So you're going to kind of arch, drop, neutral, and start to retract those shoulders and then protract those shoulders, okay? And get used to doing this movement. So you might feel that one side feels more sticky, less strong, okay? But this is kind of easy for a lot of people. But the point is that you're not driving your shoulders up towards your ears, but you're actually getting a nice protraction and then retraction, shoulder blades down and back.
Which is an error that we see. We see a lot of people, or I see a lot of people as they're moving through the drive, they shrug up into the shoulder as they're about to snap that handle into the body instead of being able to stay down into the lap, right? Which is exactly what we're prepping.
Right, so you can do about 10 reps of this with your knees on the ground. And then, to make it a little bit harder, okay, because we always like to make things a little bit harder to get that heat building up in the body, pick your knees up 1 inch above the deck, okay? Chin is tucked, and go ahead and do the same thing, okay? So you're going to go ahead and protract, retract, just moving those shoulder blades through their full range of motion for 1 minute straight, okay?
That'll get you hot.
That'll get you warm, and that'll also be great for your midline. Okay, rowing technique takes a lot of midline control and coordination. Second thing, grab a relatively medium weight kettlebell. Okay, hold it in a goblet position. So when you're pulling on the rower, you're pulling from the front of your body. So you have no weight on the back of your body. So you want to kind of challenge your nervous system with some weight on the front, like you would on the rower. Okay, so what you're going to do is start in that kind of catch position. Okay, squeeze your butt, shoulder blades drawn back, hold the weight, hinge over. Once you start to feel tension building in those hamstrings.
Moving through the release,
Yes.
the release through the recovery now.
Yes. So once you feel tension, bend the knees. Okay, squat down with those knees slightly outside the toes. Okay, pick the butt back up, like you're pushing off the rower. Stand back up.
And notice that she dropped into that bottom position, stayed flat on the foot. Right? We always want to make sure that in the catch position, we are loading into our midfoot. You never want to be getting to the toes, and we never want to be completely in the heel. You want to be nice and connected through midfoot. And would you agree that with most movements, we want the same thing,
Yes,
right? We want to maintain that connection through midfoot. So when she gets into that bottom position, which is mimicking the catch, we're connected midfoot, and that she's staying nice and connected and tight all the way through the movement.
And I'm still holding this weight nice and tight, right? I'm not worried about the shoulders protracting, retracting here. This is more for loading of the anterior chain of your body and going through the right movements in the posterior chain. Makes sense. So I'm going to lift up, booty in the air, stand back up. I'm going to go through that for 1 minute straight as well. Okay? That'll build heat, give or take 30 seconds of rest between those two drills. After you do that, you're going to mobilize the posterior chain. Okay?
This is the stuff I love.
Yes. So, will you please be my rig?
There's nothing I would rather do more.
Okay. So he's going to hold on to that band. All right. So, for those of you that want to add a little extra, challenge to this mobility drill, you're going to place your forefoot kind of toe box area on top of a 10-pound weight or something of that size. Banded leg is forward, knees are slightly bent. Okay? The first part of this drill is basically the goal is to open up one posterior chain of my calf, hamstrings, and butt. All of which are being put on stretch when you row efficiently. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to bend over at my pelvis, making sure not to round my back yet. I'm going to go ahead and do this for 1 minute. Okay, I can put my hand on my back to make sure. I can put my thumb on my sternum and pubic symphysis area, not too low, okay? And bend over and do that for a minute. Okay, then after that, you can go ahead and put your hands on the ground and round your back. It's okay, this is a global flex position. And I'm going to go ahead and drive my booty into the air by flexing and bending my knee. So I'm flossing my butt, posterior chain, kind of like flossing your teeth, but not really. I'm going to do that for 1 minute. To make it a little extra challenging, I can turn my foot in a little bit to get more like T-band, TFL. Okay? So, ooh, that feels so nice. Yeah. All right. Now, the key is, whoa there, like a horse. Dark horse rowing. There you go. Got a test retest, guys. PVC pipe on the back. I'm going to tell you what it's going to feel because I just mobilized my right butt, right posterior chain. Get in the same position, butt squeezed. Right, rib cage is drawn down. 3 points of contact. Bend over. Wow, my right butt flies back. Woo! Feels good. I'm going to retest the other position as well. Squatting. Knees underneath, or feet underneath the hips. Feels like butter on my right. Now I need to work on my left side. Okay. What's up with that?
So, guys, that is excellent prep for getting into the movement of rowing, right? That is what we are trying to get you primed for, is proper movement. And as you'll notice, everything that Teresa took you through was perfect positioning. We want to practice perfect positioning, right?
Yes.
Always getting into good position,
Yes.
so that as you move, everything preps well.
Yes.
Because you will never get into the catch and core position and miraculously tighten it up
Right.
for a great stroke, right? If you miss the catch, you miss the stroke. So as you move through every phase of the stroke, catch, drive, release, recovery, at every phase, we are thinking prep movement so that everywhere I'm in a good place and I'm not trying to find it.
Yes.
Right.
And that's the motor pattern improvement. It's like you consciously have to take your body there. Like it's not just gonna happen, right? Like you have to think about it, and that's why these movements aren't fast. It's not time. It's taking your time doing it and doing it right.
Yeah.
So
Do it right.
do it right.
It's not worth doing if you don't do it right.
Right.
All right, guys. Dr. Teresa Larson, Shane Farmer, Dark Horse Rowing, Prep Your Movement, do it right.
Do it right. That's right.